You were never meant to be a slave to your own screen. Not you. Not the man who once dreamed of conquering cities with his bare hands. Not the boy who looked in the mirror and imagined a warrior staring back. Not the soul that aches every night, knowing deep down that you are wasting something sacred. You didn't come here to scroll in silence. You didn't come here to drain yourself behind closed doors. You didn't come here to surrender your empire for 15 seconds of digital pleasure. This isn't a shame video. This isn't a lecture. This is a mirror. And the man on the other side, he's starving. Not for more pixels. Not for another tab. But for a reason to rise. For a mission that ignites him like fire. Let's not pretend you don't feel it. That subtle hollowness after you finish. That shame that hits before the screen even dims. That echo in your chest whispering, "This isn't who I'm supposed to be." Because it's not. You were built for purpose. Forged in pressure. Wired for greatness. But you've been hijacked. Hijacked by algorithms that prey on your dopamine. By industries that profit from your sedation. By a culture that laughs while you crumble. You want power, stop giving it away. You want clarity, stop fogging your mind. You want an empire, stop bowing to your lower self. There's a lion in you, but you keep feeding the dog. Today isn't about guilt. It's about freedom. This video is your war drum. Not against sex, not against desire, but against the addiction that's stealing your soul. Because once you reclaim that energy, once you redirect what was leaking into shadows, you won't just feel alive again. You'll remember who the hell you are. The moment you stop watching porn is the moment you begin watching your life rise. That is not metaphor. That is biology. That is psychology. That is spiritual law. Because every time you choose release without purpose, you are surrendering your drive, your edge, your warrior's instinct, one empty climax at a time. Let's be brutally honest. Porn is not harmless. It is not just a phase. It is not just a habit. It is a thief of time, of energy, of ambition. Behind every tab you open is an empire you're not building, a skill you're not learning, a relationship you're not strengthening, a body you're not sculpting, a kingdom you're not ruling. Porn gives nothing back. It leaves you weaker, not wiser. Tired, not fulfilled. Distracted, not enlightened. You chase the high and lose the throne. Because here's the truth, most men don't want to hear. Your sexual energy is your creative force. It's your hunger, your fuel, your magnetism. And when it's wasted on pixels, it can't build anything real. Every great man you admire, every king, artist, warrior, leader understood this. Not because they were Puritans, but because they knew how to harness the fire. They mastered their lust. They turned it inward, upward, forward. You've been tricked. Told it's normal to fap twice a day. Told it's healthy to relieve stress. Told you're just a man, and men are wired like this. But that's a lie sold by billion-dollar industries that depend on your weakness. They want you docile. They want you tamed. They want your lion sedated. You think you're watching them? No, they're watching you. watching you scroll, watching you relapse, watching your attention span shrink, watching your dreams collect dust. And if that doesn't scare you, it should. Because somewhere, right now, a man just like you is saying no more. He's cutting the cords. He's facing his urges. He's turning his hunger into mastery. He's using his sexual energy to build his body, his brand, his future. And in 5 years, he will have a life you dreamed of. While you're still trying to close that incognito tab, let's talk about power, real power. Not the kind you pretend to have in online arguments. Not the illusion of dominance behind a fake username. But the kind of power that walks into a room and silences noise. That speaks without shouting. That leads without begging. That kind of power is not born in addiction. It's born in restraint. You think power is control over others? Wrong. Power is control over self. Because the man who can master his lust can master anything. Your sexual urges are not curses. They are tests. Not to be eliminated, but to be transmuted. To be refined. To be forged into focus, into vision, into action. This is not New Age fantasy. This is ancient wisdom. This is what the Spartans knew. What the Shaolin monks embodied. What the greatest generals, saints, inventors, and rulers lived by. Semen retention. Dopamine discipline. Mental clarity. Not because they hated pleasure, but because they respected power. They didn't waste their seed on fantasy. They used it to carve legacies into stone. But you're being drained by soft moans on a hard screen. Your eyes are red. Your brain is foggy. Your confidence is fake. Your grip on reality is slipping. And still, you tell yourself it's just one more time. But you know better. You feel it in your bones. In your posture. In your voice. In your presence. You feel it when you look in the mirror and see a shadow of the man you could have been. And that pain, that's your soul begging you to stop betraying it. No more lies. No more justifications. No more playing small. It's time to wage war not on your body, but for it. To fight for your kingdom, your mind, your empire. To channel your sexual energy like a warrior sharpening his sword, not a boy lost in temptation. And once you do, everything changes. Your voice deepens. Your walk steadies. Your gaze sharpens. Your goals return. And suddenly, the world starts reacting to you differently. Because you're no longer leaking energy. You're radiating it. You've felt it before. Those rare moments when you go a few days clean, when your mind feels like a blade, sharp and ready. When women seem to notice you. When your voice carries weight. When your thoughts connect like lightning. When your goals feel alive again. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. That's your life coming back online. But the moment you relapse, it disappears. The fire dims, the fog returns, the momentum dies. You say you want to be rich. You say you want a powerful life, a beautiful woman, a mission worth dying for. But how can you build an empire if you can't even say no to your own hand? Let that sink in. porn isn't just about sex. It's about escape. It's about numbing. It's about avoiding your potential. It's about distracting yourself from the voice that says, you were made for more. And deep down, you know it. Because porn gives you fake power. It gives you the illusion of control, of dominance, of conquest. But the truth, you're being conquered. You're being ruled. Not by a king, by a habit. You think you're choosing it, but it's choosing you again and again every time you open that app, swipe that screen, press that button. It owns you. Until you decide it doesn't. Until you rip that leash off your neck and reclaim your time, your energy, your masculinity. Because no man can lead others while being led by lust. You want the body. It requires discipline. You want the money. It demands focus. You want the respect of kings and queens. Then stop acting like a slave to your lower nature. This world does not reward the addicted. It rewards the obsessed, the hungry, the driven, the awake. Every minute you spend watching porn is a minute another man is out training you, out learning you, out building you. Not because he's better, but because he chose mastery while you chose pleasure. Let that anger you. Let that wake you up. Because this is not about being perfect. This is about taking back what's yours. Your life, your energy, your mission. Start today. Not with a speech. Not with guilt. But with a decision. I will not let this own me another day. And when you make that decision not just once, but every day you begin to rewire your brain, you start to remember what it feels like to be in control, not of the world, not of others, but of yourself. And that, my brother, is the foundation of empires. Because men who rule kingdoms first learn to rule their cravings. It's not easy. It's war. Your body will beg. Your brain will scream. Your habits will fight like hell to keep you small. You will feel the pull at 1 a.m., alone in your room, tired, bored, seeking a hit of artificial comfort. But this time, let the discomfort sit with you. Let it burn. Let it teach you that you don't need to run. You don't need to escape. And you don't need to obey every impulse. Because impulses are not truth. They are echoes of programming conditioning you never consented to. And the moment you pause just long enough to see it for what it is, you break the chain. You become aware. And awareness is the birth of freedom. Porn wants you to believe you're weak. But weakness is not your nature, it's your training. You've been trained by repetition. Every relapse has deepened the groove. Every click has carved a shortcut in your brain. And now, it fires without your permission. But repetition also works in reverse. Every time you say no, every time you walk away, every time you redirect your focus, you lay down new tracks. Tracks of strength, tracks of clarity, tracks of transformation. You are not broken. You are not damaged. You are simply out of alignment with your potential. And the fastest way back, stop leaking your power. Because something amazing happens when you hold it in. You start to feel alive again. You wake up early. You move with purpose. You speak with conviction. You look people in the eyes. You walk into rooms, and people feel it, your presence, your fire. your self-command. That's what happens when a man stops chasing pixels and starts chasing purpose. Women notice. Opportunities open. Time expands. The fog lifts. And for the first time in years, you see the world not through the blur of addiction, but through the eyes of a man who remembers who he is. And when that happens, you stop chasing empires. You start building them. The empire you build will not rise from luck. It will rise from discipline. From daily decisions to choose power over pleasure. From silent mornings where you train your body, sharpen your mind, and stretch your soul. From nights where you sit with the ache not to numb it, but to learn from it. Because the greatest version of you isn't hidden behind fantasy. He's forged in fire. And every time you deny the urge to escape, you add another brick to your throne. This is how it begins. Not with applause. Not with likes. But in private battles no one will ever see. The moment you say no. The moment you get up instead of giving in. The moment you breathe through the storm instead of being swept away. That's when the king within you wakes up. And he doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't need validation. Because he knows that discipline is the root of respect, especially self-respect. You see, this journey isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about remembering who you've always been before the noise, before the algorithms, before the chains. There's a warrior in you. There's a builder, a thinker, a leader, a lover who loves deeply, not just lustfully, a creator of worlds, not a consumer of illusions. But he only emerges when the fog clears. When you stop feeding the parasite and start feeding the purpose. And yes, it will be hard. You will fall. You will feel weak. You will question whether it's worth it. But keep going. Because after 30 days, your energy returns. After 60 days, your focus sharpens. After 90 days, your entire presence changes. You no longer feel like a boy pretending to be a man. You are a man anchored, grounded, full of vision. You wake up with a fire behind your eyes. You speak and people listen. You walk and doors open. You look in the mirror. And finally, you nod. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Because you're here. Because you fought the war within and started winning. And that's the first empire. The empire of you. Once you conquer that, the rest of the world is yours. So stop watching porn. Start building your empire. It begins now. And if no one has told you this before, hear me clearly. You are not weak. You are not too far gone. You are not broken. You are powerful beyond belief. And the moment you stop giving away your power, the world will start giving you everything you were born to receive. Go. Build it. The throne is waiting.